so excited. Today's tutorial is going to be about time aligning, so specifically time aligning drums. I'm going to introduce Beat Detective. I'm going to also introduce Elastic Audio. So this is based in Pro Tools, and the song we're going to be working with is a song I wrote called Berserk. So here is Berserk with drums mostly timed. So, and then we'll get right into the session. We won't. I'll go click. How about now?
Yeah. Well, this whole year, well, it's been a mess. Well, this whole year felt just like taking a test. Well, testing my patience, testing my love, testing my resolve. But just keep trying, even though it's berserk. Well, keep on smiling as you sift through the dirt. 'Cause this old girl, she takes what you got and leaves what you need.
Cool. All right. So that was the finished mix. And here are the drums. They're not timed. And if you remember right here, there's a little drum pickup. That's not going to be here. It's this right now. So let's have a listen. Untimed drums with a click track. Okay, so drums are played pretty nice. Buddy Johnny Phillips on there did a really nice job. But we're going to come in and kind of with a fine-tooth comb, and we're going to pick apart his playing. No, we're not. It sounds pretty good, but we can make it a little bit tighter. I'll leave those acoustics on for now, but I may mute them in a little bit as well, just so we can really focus in. So, Beat Detective. That's what we're going to use first. I love Beat Detective. It's an old school way of time aligning drums, but still super effective. And for the most part, my preferred way to time align drums and only drums. I don't like using Beat Detective with anything else. I have used it with bass before. I think there's better ways to do it. Oh, you could just practice. You could play it perfect. Okay, whatever. Let's do these drums. So the first thing I want to do is I want to group my drums. They're already grouped right here. This is the drum group right here. If I right click, you can see what I put into it. This is what's in this group. Kick in. These are my drums right here. That's how many mics I used on this drums. So if I just want to view, you know what? Let's mute those acoustics real quick. And then we can just, both acoustics, Bennett, real quick. And then we can just view what's in this group. All right, so here are the drummies. Cool. So they're muted. Muted. They are in a group. If they weren't in a group, you could select all of these tracks, hit Command G, and make yourself a group. And then you have a group, and you're good to go. Command 8 is going to be the keyboard shortcut to opening up the Beat Detective window. It looks like this. It should be noted, Beat Detective doesn't work nice outside of 16 bars. So up until 16 bars, Beat Detective is your friend. Beyond 16 bars, it is your sworn enemy, and it will mess up your whole session. So just do 16 bars at a time, or 8. So that's what we want to do. We want to select. I'm going to select the start of this of when the drummies come in. Call them drummies. So right about here, and then I'm going to just hit length. 16. I have 16 bars. That's just easy peasy lemon squeezy, man. I only want the kick to start in the snare, so I'm just going to option click to turn my whole selection off. Notice it's still selected. So it's still selected. Then I'm going to hit command, and I'm going to hold the kick, and then command, hold the snare. So even though my group is on, command and even control later on maybe lets you do stuff outside of the group without having to turn it off. If you wanted to turn your group off, you could just hit, I think it's Shift Command G. Yeah, there you go. Ha! Shift Command G. You notice like in my little group corner over here, they turned off and on. Shift Command G and Shift Command G. I don't have to do that. Okay, so we have 16 bars, and now we want to talk about what the heck is this thing? What in the world is this? bar and beat marker generation. This is Pro Tools. It's going to do its own little algorithm thing, and it's going to start to detect transients. These little blobs right here, they're called transients. Want to make sure that Pro Tools is capturing the right selection. Right now it's not. Right now it's going from bar 35 to 51. Well, let's hit capture selection. So we're going to do, that's the first thing. So first thing is we select 16 bars, just the kick and snare with the group on. That was the first thing. Second thing is we're going to capture this bar beat marker under bar beat marker generation, capture selection. Before you do that, if you can, try to figure out what's the quickest note happening in these drums. You know, if there's like busy drums and there's hi-hats happening, typically probably like an 8th note or 16th note. I'm going to keep it at 8th note. This is not destructive, so if you make a mistake, you can go back. I'm going to keep it at 8th note for now. And I've captured my selection, so it goes from bar 34 to 50, okay? Exactly 16 bars. That's great. So 34, 3, 53. Then I'm going to analyze this. So this is the analysis mode. We have options. I'm going to stick with enhanced resolution. High emphasis or low emphasis, it's like a frequency. It helps it out with the frequencies. I'm just going to go enhanced. It works pretty good. I'm going to hit analyze, and then it's going to put up these little nodes. And I want to make sure the node is on the kick and snare and nowhere else. It's doing pretty good. That's great. So it did a really nice job. Good job, Beat Detective. Usually you have to like enhance the analysis. So I'm just zooming out with R. If it's just 1 or 2 that's off, you can go down and hold down Option and check out, like when I hold down Option on a node, it turns into this weird creepy hand with a minus sign, and you can get rid of nodes. You can also hold down Command, and the weird creepy hand remains, but now there's an arrow saying, hey, would you like a node to go here? Yes, please. Well, no, thanks. I don't. That's if it made a mistake. But so far, there were no mistakes at 20%. That's great. Let's keep it. So this is the next move, and we'll probably get some mistakes later. Don't worry, because it might not be so smooth for you. The group is on. We all agree the group is on. There's a blue highlight here. The group is on. So if I hold down Shift and hit semicolon, what's going to happen is all my nodes that I've analyzed on my kick and snare, they're going to go precisely in the same spot, but on my other mics. So on the kick out, on the tom 1, the floor tom, the side tom, over left and right, room, center, right, boundary. Okay. They shall arrive. So I'm going to hit Shift, semicolon, with the group on, as long as everything is in the group. And it's going to select the rest of them. Boom. That's so nice. Okay. At this point, we are ready to separate. That's the next move in this chain. Probably the reason I like Beat Detective is you go down a list and you just accomplish things and they come off of your list. Love that. Just love it. We're skipping. So we skipped one on purpose. Not even going to get into it. Groove template extraction. Great. Not going to do it for timeline and drums. Clip separation. That's it. So we've already captured. Don't recapture the selection. I'm just going to hit separate. Okay. Separate. Now I have a ton of clips. I'm going to hide the clip list. Over here, I'm going to hide the clip list. So we can see even more. So all of these where our selection was, they're all split where those nodes were. Okay. Clip conform is the next one. This is important. Strength. If you leave it just unchecked, it defaults to 100%. It means please time this like well. Exclude within. You're like, hey man, I'm cool. If he's like 2% off, I'm cool with that. Leave it. I want it to feel like there's a human there. Swing. It's just another one of the same. Like I want to give it a bit of feel, so I want to swing it basically at a time. I'm going to keep all of those off because I'm only timing the kick and the snare. All those little bits in between, there's going to be some inconsistencies. There's my human. So that's why I'm going to keep the kick and snare right on the grid. And then everything else can still kind of flow a little bit. So I'm going to hit conform at this point. So I didn't touch any of that, and I'm happy about that. All right, so stuff just moved around. That was nice. Now edit smoothing, fill and crossfade. If you don't fill anything, there's going to be all these little gaps. They're going to sound weird, and you're going to hear like the signal go out and in, and it's going to go pop. Fill and crossfade. So that would be my recommendation. And 5 milliseconds seems to work fine. Sometimes I go up to 10 milliseconds, but 5 milliseconds seems to work just fine and dandy. So I'm going to hit smooth, and it created all these crossfades everywhere. So everywhere where there's a clip, it created all these crossfades. Notice how my kick is now right on the grid right here. We can just see it, but we see it, but we want to take a listen because maybe we made a mistake. So I always listen through the 16 bars before proceeding to the next. So here we go, listening. Nice. Ooh. That's nice. That's still nice. So that's drum perfection, which is we've time aligned the kick and we time aligned the snare and we've snapped everything else so everything stays in the perfect phase or time, coherency, existence, planet. If we would have just moved the kick and the snare and not moved the other tracks precisely how we're moving the kick and snare, we'd cause a lot of phase issues. Because these were all mic'd in a room together. So if we do something to one thing, we should do it to all the things of those mics. So that probably made no sense. I'll probably delete that part. But that is Beat Detective. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at Beat Detective. It really can be that easy. You can cycle through that a couple times if you like. Next up on the list is going to be Elastic Audio. And you can see I already have some of this Elastic Audio because I've already done it, but then the camera recording erased. So let's do it again. Like other things in Pro Tools, Elastic Audio is non-destructive. So I will just destruct. First thing that we want to do, make sure the group is on. It is on. And then we're going to come over here to this little time capsule over here. You see right here. And with the group on, I'm going to turn it on once and select rhythmic, and it's there because I already had turned it on. Yours will take a second, and you'll notice that Pro Tools gets grayed out, and then it comes back on. So let's just do that. So I'll hit none, and I'll just revert. So here we go. I'm going to turn that capsule. We're going to go rhythmic. Rhythmic detects transient spikes, which for drums is great, for kick and snare drum especially. All right, so that is on. And then we're going to go and we're going to look at analysis points. That's the first thing we're going to look at. And they look like these analysis points, which are going to turn into warp markers in a second. If we listen to the drums, we can hear the drums are slightly ahead of the beat. Okay? It's like hit, then click. Cool. We're going to look at elastic properties. So I have a 16 bar section. You can do more than 16 bars at once. That's an advantage to Elastic Audio. So I right-clicked on the group, and I want to bring down the event sensitivity until really I just have the kick and the snare left as much as possible. So I'm going to bring that down, and at like 76%, I have snares represented. I have kicks. I have a little bit of other things here, but that's fine. I'm happy with that. We're going to change from analysis to warp view. And this is where you're going to see stuff shift in time. So option 0 brings up this event operations tab, and we're in the quantize menu. We just want to make sure our quantized grid is the same as our grid that we're looking at, so we don't get any surprises. Like, hey, why if you change that quantized grid to 30-second notes, it'll snap stuff to the nearest 30-second note, when really you want to snap stuff, and like I do right now, to the nearest 8th note. So same as Beat Detective, we have swing options. This is how loose it's going to feel. I'm leaving everything at 100%. I'm just grabbing the kicks and the snares, okay? So I'm going to hit apply. Boom, let's have a listen to this. And let's see if it's introduced any weird flutters. I'm checking the camera, see if it's still on. Very exciting, it's still on. So let's have a listen. Let's see how Pro Tools did in Elastic Audio. It's like a weird flutter, but not bad. Cool. So the playing's right on now. Cool. Okay, so the playing's right on. They're like little artifacts that are introduced. I'm not crazy about, but it's easy to do. It was super quick to do that. Let's do another 16 bars just for fun. So that's 8 bars. You okay if we do 8 bars? Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, let's do 8 bars. I'm just gonna select here and I'm just gonna take an 8-bar loop. I'm gonna notice it's in a group. I'm going back to analysis mode. We have our selection, just make sure it's selected. And then elastic properties. And again, we're gonna just pull down the event sensitivity. So we have kicks and snares. So my kick is right here, my snare is right here. I have a little bit too much right there. Oh, this is like a quiet part of the song. I got it. Keep going up until we get that kick back. All right. So I have kicks, I have snares. Don't seem to be missing any. We're going to go back to warp mode. I already have this dialog open, but again, option 0. So option 0 just kind of brings up that events operation. Eighth note's going to stay the same, and I'm going to hit apply, and the warp markers appear. So let's have a listen to this one. Cool. And let's listen to it before. So it's just a little before the beat, and now it's right on. All right, so that is time aligning with Elastic Audio, specifically drums using that rhythmic Elastic Audio, picking up those transients a little easier. And we've also time aligned with Beat Detective. So I hope you found those tutorials informative, and I'll see you in the next one.